We've been where you're going for the long haul, not just a long weekend. We leveraged.
Does that work? Is that working? Is it on? I can't tell. Is it on? Actually, 5x5. Why can't I see it? There it is. There it is. Why can't I see it? It's working. Yay! Yay! Unstable mutation. Let's see here. Hello, everybody. We're playing a live game of Pulp Alley today. A live game of Pulp Alley. We're going to be doing this one solo. We're using a lot of the same stuff that we used last time. We have our Forces of Darkness on the other side. We're going to be using a couple gangs with spells as acolytes. So we have two groups of acolytes on the other side, which is basically a gang that has a spellcaster. So there's a spellcaster inside that little group right there, the fella in the robe. Now, the entire gang is the spellcaster, so I don't want to mislead you into thinking that you're putting a spellcaster into a gang. That's not what it is. As always, I add a little bit of character or flavor to it. But that gang is a spellcasting gang. I don't really have enough spellcasters or fellows that I wanted to use as spellcasters, so I just put one spellcaster in there with some blobulars to also cast some spells. So we have a lot of spells going off in this scenario. I gotta get something to drink. I'm sorry. Sorry about the delay this morning. So sorry about the delay. I am Bessie-less. Bessie is over in Tahlequah today. She has a dentist appointment tomorrow, so she drove over there for the weekend. So this is going to be a skirmish. It's going to be a, look how I turn away as if my germs are going to get on somebody else. It's going to be a skirmish, so there's no plot points. It is all about just kicking the snot out of each other. And then it's got spellcasters. So we have Neva, the witch, on one side. I changed up her spells a little bit. Not a lot. A little bit. And then you're going to see the spellcasters on that side of the table just destroy everything over here. It will be annihilated. There is no hope for the good guys today. They will be blown off the table. Maybe. Oh, there's my dice. Don't have the sky cam today because that's normally Bessie's phone that we put up to shoot from the Cooner Beans Zeppelin sky cam. All right. For our spellcasters on the good guy side, we have Ginna over here. Right here. Oh, well, he didn't actually pass the roll today, so the kitty is an associate. It would not normally be marked on the table. It's not a character or anything like that. But I did not pass the roll. It would normally give him a spell or something like that as an associate, but since I failed the roll, he didn't actually help out today. Let's Let me think what else we need to do. Go over the spells real quick. Gita has Purgatrix, the new version of Purgatrix, which is not the correct one that's written on here. Purgatrix and Emindo. And who's this guy? Oh, this is Breck. Breck has Periculos, which is that perilous area spell. I made the terrain a little less restricting today, so it probably will not be as bombastic as it was last time. He has Fortis Velo. This is not the final version of Fortis Velo either. And he'll have Nebulo, which will create a difficult area. Then we have the leader of the good guys. So they have 2 spellcasters, and they have 3 spellcasters over there. For the baddies, oh goodness me, oh my. I can't get my... Oh, I was doing all of that thinking I was actually showing you things. How about that? I am Bessilus, so... Ignis Ictus is a Blarfy, Blasty, Magic Missile, Fireball, whatever you want to call it. Blarfy spell for this group over here, this level 2 group. The Witch, Neva, also has Agio, Fragor, and Ignis Ictus. And then this group over here of spellcasters has the Revoco spell. All right, and that's it. Let's get this started. Let's just have some fun today. Let's see. We are playing this with solo. It is going to be a 6-turn scenario. Try to remember to switch cameras. Maybe I should just leave it on the close-up camera. Maybe that's what I should do instead of worrying about showing my beautiful self on here. I know. You say, but what? But what? So spells today. So I did send off for what might be the final spell deck. I sent off for what we went through over the last 2 weeks or so, made a lot of changes. You know, to me, a lot of changes would be about a half dozen or so cards, maybe more, but right around that. About a half dozen little changes to little spells. Periculos is slightly different. I hope I have the right version in this book. Let's see. Make sure I'm using the right version today. Sorry, I have been down with a... was it Periculos? It was Purgatory. Periculos is correct. Nebulos is correct on the card. Fortis Velo is different. Purgatrix. Where you at? Purgatrix. It destroys 1 enchantment. I don't think they have any enchantments. They got 1 enchantment over there. Okay, you know what? It happens, right? Not all your spells are always going to be a big help to you. So a spell like Purgatrix, you know, knocks down enchantments. But if the enemy isn't going to use a lot of enchantments, then, you know, that's not going to give you a lot of help there. So that's a choice that you have to make between spells that have a high utility and then specialized spells. And we kind of actually talk about that a little bit in the rules, you know, how you balance that decision. He's a level 3 character, so a couple of his spells have fairly high utility. So he'll probably lean on those a little bit more. So we'll need to remember that, yeah, Oh, she has the Purgatrix. Emindo is the healing spell. For them, I don't think any of their spells are different. Ignis Ignis is what it is. Yeah. Their spells are locked in. So Fortis Velo is different and Purgatrix is different. Okay, I think I can remember that probably. I don't know. Let's just get started. So as we look at this table, and you're playing solo, you really want to, and I'm going to be playing the good guy side here. So what you think about is what's going to make it more difficult for my side. Is there, I guess I would have an advantage maybe if I allowed my side to go first. So let's try to make it as hard as I can on myself, and we're going to let the baddies go first. And they're going to just start advancing across the field. What's the range on my spells? I want to start blarfing on stuff. I'm going to throw a gang of... Now, I do need to have line of sight for my spells. I'm going to throw my runners here, this little swarm. They're going to move, and... I think I'm just going to use them to shield. So I'm not going to throw, I could throw rocks or javelins or, sticks or poop at this group. This is a mob, so they would only roll 1 dice, and I'd be taking 3 dice back. Fairly decent chance to lose my mob there. And since I want to keep my screen in place for at least a little while, I think I'm going to go ahead and let them sit. Next, I'm going to move, so remember when you're playing solo, you move 1 side at a time. I'm going to push up my, I should have been drawing cards. Let's back up. I'm sorry, guys. I should have drawn a card for that first group. Here's a card. Make it count. Cane goes +1 to brawl and shoot. All right, well, I'm going to attach that. It's an attach until I use it. That group. I'm sorry about all the coughing. Let me see if I can find the cough drop. I know I have some over here. Or at least I should. Maybe I went through them all. Oh, crap. Must have taken them next door. Oh, there's one. All right. And then the last, I don't want to take another chance on getting another bad card. So I'm going to go ahead and move that other mob on this flank 12 inches forward. So they're going to be up here. So a big thank you to everybody for coming to Pulpalooza in October. We have a little bit of talking going on right now about, hey Zug, hey Eddie Grassi, hey Pagum, hey Jim. Big thank you to Eddie for sending some feedback. I think he's over there playing with Chris Abbey in the UK, so... I sent Chris Abbey a copy of the newer book. Eddie and Simon and Chris, all 3 had some wonderful feedback. So we're really pushing forward with the book and the cards, and we're hoping. I don't know that I'm going to get it released or start taking pre-orders before the end of the year. Maybe. It's all about making sure that it's right. So we don't want to do something until I have printed copies in my hand, prototypes that I look at and I say, I'll go with 95% happy. I could accept that it doesn't have to be perfect. I would just like it to be close to perfect. So there's still a chance we could get the Magic Rules, at least start taking pre-orders before the end of the year. probably more likely January, but because of the way that I work, you know, I don't set myself a you know, a schedule that I have to meet, because that ends up meaning that maybe I release something that I'm not happy with, and I'm not going to do that. Again, I moved my little mob up. Oh, so anyway, Pulpalooza 2026. So a couple folks have sent us some suggestions for 2026. So Chris Girardi up in Kansas City has talked to a game store up in Kansas City about the idea of doing Pulpalooza. So that name has been thrown into the hat. Kansas City. Are there folks out there that would like to do Pulpalooza 2026 in Kansas City? And then Charlie Stout and Nay, we're talking to a game store up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So, you know, would that be a place? And, you know, we haven't really discussed, you know, all the different places that we would do a Pulpalooza 2026. I think the important thing to remember, you know, we could do it anywhere, right? We could go to Texas. We could go to Tennessee. We could go to California. We could go, you know, wherever we go. But here's the deal. We can't be the ones to set it up. If you want to suggest, hey, why don't you do it in Harrisburg, PA? Well, that means you have to be the one that, you know, talks to the store, you know, initiates that discussion, sends us pictures of you know, the facility, you know, what restaurants are nearby. And then, so you're actually would be the boots on the ground that would actually be hosting it and would make it happen. So it's not just simply about suggesting a place to go, but being the person to do it. And for those of you that have been to Albuquerque and seen the way David Lowe hosts this and puts it all together, arranges for local players to come in and set up games, Ken and Sean and Jimmy and himself setting up tables. Not only that, you know, but, you know, coordinating to have other players come in and bring their things as well. So that's a big shoulder of responsibility. So it's easy to go, hey, why don't you have it in Denver? Well, are you going to be the one that makes that happen? You know, are you going to reach out to a place and find out if they can, you know, host us? Also, I don't have the exact window of Pulpalooza for, you know, and it is a weekend long thing, probably, you know, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, at the very least 3 days. And, you know, last year we had about 30 or so folks, including the local people and the folks driving in. Anyway, if you have a place, if you have a suggestion, consider all of that, and then we'll move forward from there. You know, let us know what you're thinking about. So did I forget to draw a card for them? I did. All clear. Okay, well, they're getting good stuff. All right. So now, oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. All right, here we go. Howdy to Vern Jeske. Howdy to Bob. Howdy to Zug. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Hey, I needed to do a spell for these guys. Let me see here. I have a range of 12 inches for Revoco. Oh, dang it. So the way that Revoco works, I'm going to back up a second here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm doing too many things at one time. I was so scattered this morning trying to get everything up and running. All right, so Revoco is puts out a marker, So it's one of those spell marker spells. So what you do there is you put a marker out there to show where you want that spell to go. And I'm going to put it, there's no way I'm going to get 3 successes. The diameter of the spell, I'm going to put it close to these guys and hope I'm only going to get them, aren't I? Is that all I'm going to get? Okay, that's where I'm going to put it. I'm going to try and blarf on them. So what that does is it's basically a burst. You could call this a burst. But the diameter of it is equal to the number of successes that I roll. They have a might of 3. They will roll 3 dice. The number of successes will equal the diameter. It's a 2-inch diameter, so it will catch these guys, and that's all it will do. Everybody that's caught in it will take a random peril. So the random peril is 1 with might. Well, guess what? That's a gang, so they have a might of 3. I got to get 1 success. Easy peasy. That's all the entire effect of the spell. So it's a low-level spell, and it's a really interesting spell, though, because it does some things that... it does a few things that are kind of situational, but I'll tell you a couple things about it. Revoco. The marker that you place has to be within your line of sight, right? The marker has to be within your line of sight. But then what you roll, so you can actually put it at the corner of a building, and then the burst actually comes out, hits all characters within that diameter of the spell. I want to double check and make sure that, yeah. And it does do all characters. So that is one of those rare instances where you could actually damage your own characters. All right. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying that's a cool thing, but it is different at least. Over here, I have my Ignis Ictus boys, my Ignis Ictus casters. And what they're going to do is they're going to waddle forward. Now, the spell marker, whenever you put a spell marker out there, that's showing the point of the spell. And then take it off to, you know, if it after it's resolved or if the spell is gone or whatever. So the next thing, next thing I want to do is try and get my other spellcasters over here moved up. So I think I'm just going to move them. What's the range of their spell? Ignis Ictus is only a 12-inch spell. I'm not particularly excited about that. So I'm going to throw them up a little bit further. Get them up a little bit into range here. My archers on this side are going to go up and get in front of my my acolytes. Can you guys see that? Okay, I'm on the right camera. And then my spearmen are going to come up on this side. So apparently she didn't really learn anything from the last battle, and she's splitting her forces again. I'm going to send these guys up on this side, 12 inches. Going this way. We're going to move a little bit faster over here. These are... Oh, no, I'm not going to use the weapons today. I'm going to have them move up on this side. I'm going to have my archers move up behind my mob. My scrubs over there. And then I'm going to have Neva activate. Let's see, she is back over here. Not sure if you guys could see that or not. She's way back here. Neva is going to activate, and she will move 6 inches this away. And she's going to cast... Yeah, I want to move because I want to get it to range of spells. Agio gives me a +1 might and This one might. And where's my Neva card? Where's my card for her? Oh, dang it. What did I do with my card? Okay. Doggone it. I'm gonna have to make one real quick because I don't want to be guessing every time what she does. I know I had it out here. Where's my character card for her? Nullus. All right, we'll make up a quick Neva, the witch. What did I do with that? Okay. Well, you guys get to see how a spellcaster is put together. Let's see. All right, Neva will have the spellcraft ability. That's going to hinder her brawl and shoot are both hindered. Might, finesse, cunning. So she'll have two abilities. So she'll have spellcraft. That gives her a number of spells equal to her level, and her 3 spells are Agio, or is in her spell book. Agio, Fragor, and everyone's just get ready for Ignis Ictus to be your most popular spell because that's the Blarfy Blasty spell. We are talking about doing we are talking already about expanding because this, in all the play testing that we have done, we have slowly, or not slowly, been coming up with ideas for other spells. So Nullus was a spell that I really wanted to add to this deck, but I couldn't find a spell that I wanted to take out. So I'm like, well, there's nothing that I want to take out to fit Nullus in there. I really like Nullus, and there's a few others like that. But I don't want to take it out. So it'll have to wait for the expansion. Maybe it'll be a bonus spell that we'll do with pre-orders or something like that. You know, just to figure out another way to get the more spells in there. I really have been playtesting some summoning spells as well. So spells that create characters that come into play. So those are fun. Even like magical creatures, there's one that creates a creature that has where they roll dice equal to the power of the spell. So they're basically a walking enchantment that wanders an enchanted character. So they walk around the table as if they were a character, but they are a spell. And they have tokens on them to show how strong that spell is, and then they use those tokens. The tokens are removed. I don't want to get into all of it, but the tokens are actually removed to do their recovery. So when they get injured, that's what you have to remove to at the end of the turn. If they're injured, if they're not at full strength, you remove a token to get them recovered. Let's see, for Neva, she gets one more spell, or one more ability, and for the ability, it's going to be Ether Weave. The maximum range of her spells is extended 6 inches. So Ether Weave. So So her spells can be cast an additional 6 inches. And then there's another one called, there's 2 things that determine if you can cast a spell, and that is the target within your range and your line of sight. So this one helps you on your range. That means you could cast even further out. And there's another one, I think it's called Mystic Sight, that lets you cast without having line of sight. And that's really where you have a lot of fun creating your spellcasters. You know, you could still use all of the old abilities as well. I didn't have to pick an arcane ability for Neva. She could just as easily have had a regular ability, you know, just to pump up her might or something, pump up the jam a little bit while you feel it. Now for her abilities, we're going to put 2d6 in shoot and 2d6 in brawl. Those are also hindered. So not going to be very good at those. I don't want her to be particularly weak at, about the time I get this finished, I'll probably find the one that I already put together. I think I'm going to give her a low finesse, 2d6, and then everything else I'm going to keep her with 3d8 on dodge. If she gets into a situation where she's going to have to do some dodging, 3d8 on might and 3d8 on cunning. Okay, there is my Neva. After she moves, she's going to cast her Agio spell. My question is who is she going to cast Agio on? Is she going to cast it on herself, or is she going to throw it on somebody else to give them a little more beefiness? I think she's just going to she's just going to throw it on herself. She's going to throw Agio on herself. So we're going to roll a number of dice equal to her might, 3d8. Got 2 successes. So that's the one enchantment that we will have in play. I guess if Breck doesn't have anything better to do, what we'll do is we'll stack that spell with Neva. We'll put 2 tokens on there to show that it has a power of 2. Oh, I should write her spells down lest I forget. So she has Agio. Oh, I already wrote them down. See, I already forgot. All right. And that, oh no, now it's the goodie's turn. So was that an advantage? I guess it really wasn't much of an advantage to let the baddies go first there, was it? In many ways, all it did is it pulled them closer, so now the goodies can try to blarf on them a little bit. Oh, well. All of the solo cards, I'm going to leave them out there. Nothing was used. I guess I'm going to start off with my archers. Do we want to start adjusting a little bit here, or are we just going to try and hold the center and let them flank us on both sides? Well, this group of archers on the right over here are going to move to, they're going to do a shuffle. And we're going to basically do the exact same thing that we did last time. I am a creature of habit. So they're going to shuffle 6 inches this way, and then they will shoot at that group that's right in front of them, at this group of slaves here. We're rolling 4 dice 6, 3 dice based on the number of models, an extra dice for the short range. The mob is rolling 1 dice 6 back. Remember, mobs always roll 1 dice, and when it says always, it means always, except for fortune card effects. So the goodies get 1 success. The baddies get 1 success. So, what do you do there? Do you block? I think I block. Yeah? Let's go ahead and block. I don't think I'm willing. No, because I have a heal spell. Okay, let's take it. I'm going to lose a fella, and I'm going to let them lose a fella. All right. Next, I think I might run. I might try doing some running. Next, I'm going to run. I'm going to run this group of archers this direction. They're going to move around them and end up somewhere around in this area over here. And they will shoot at the same group of the same mob. We'll be rolling 3 dice 6. I'm going to lose a dice because I ran, but the mob will still roll 1 dice. Remember, they always roll 1 dice and they ignore all modifiers. So they do not lose a dice for multiple fights. They take 2 and they give 1. Who has a Mindo? Both of my good spellcasters have a Mindo. I don't know that I'm willing to do that. She's definitely going to end up casting a Mindo. What's my range for that? It's got to be within 12 inches. I'm going to go ahead and let it go because that will wipe them out. I'm not gonna block here. So that means I'm going to deliver 2 hits. So do the math sometimes, and that means they're going to lose 2 models. They're down to 2 models. They're no longer combat effective, and they are removed from play as they scatter and run back into the woods with pointy sticks stuck in their hide. But that also means that this gang over here is now going to lose a model as well. Maybe I'll be able to get those back. Maybe. Let's go ahead and find out if I can get them back. So I'm going to activate Gina next. She's my level 2 spellcaster. She's going to move 6 inches in this direction, getting back over here by, is it Breck? She's going to move this direction. She will move 6 inches and then cast her Emindo spell. She only has 2 dice 6 in it. Oh, good golly. That's not good. Low spellcasters, you know, that's pretty dangerous. Did I lose? Did I lose that? Stupid thing. Back on it. Ever since we switched to our new phones, we've been having these issues. Hopefully that wasn't black for too long. I still have one old iPhone. I think I might take it down from our dice cam is still an older iPhone. I might pull it down and start using it on the table. I don't know. Because it's not just the phone, it's everything that's hooked up into it. So it's all the cord that you have to use and yada yada. She's going to throw Emindo. She's only got 2 dice to do it. Gosh. And she gets both of them. And that means that she can pick 2 targets. So she'll pick this target over here, and she'll pick this target over here. And what that does is it lets both of them roll an immediate recovery check. Remember that gangs, although they don't normally get to roll recovery checks for health, and they both pass, boys and girls. Holy cow. Gina saves the day, and she puts both of those archers right back into play. Wow, that was dirty. Don't worry, boys and girls. When those acolytes get up here and start blarfing, you're going to see like huge swaths of bodies disappearing. So, so what's our good boy Breck gonna do? Our other spellcaster is right here. What is Breck gonna do? He's got Nebulo, he's got Fortis Velo, he's got Periculos. I think How far can I cast Periculos? 12-inch range. Boy, if he could get up a ways, or he could blarf, if he could drop Periculos on those guys over there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right, that's what we're going to do. He's going to move 6 inches in this direction. Get over here next to these archers, maybe up a little bit into the center of them there. And then his 12-inch range. I'm going to have to see where I place it. So, place it there. Place it over there. Well, I'd like to cause some damage to that group of spellcasters. Okay, the point that I'm going to place it at, again, the target of that spell is a spell marker. So I put that marker out there to show where I want that spell to be. And I'm going to move it a little bit that way. And I'm going to set that spell marker right there. It's going to create a perilous area. Oh. So that's like the one in the basic group of spells. That's like for the green branch. That's like their one damaging spell, and you can imagine it being thorny vines or whatever you want to imagine it to be growing up out all around them over there. So that's like the green branch only has really that one attack spell. Now, they also have a spell called, I didn't take it. I think it's called Stupor or Debilitor. That targets an enemy and it hinders their brawl and their might. So they do have a spell that they can cast on an enemy to kind of dumbify them, to befuddle them a bit. But this is the one that's actually capable of causing damage. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll a number of dice equal to Brick's cunning. He has a cunning. Where'd my D8s go? I know I had D8s out here. Okay. I'll just re-roll one of these. So it has a power of, so far it's 2. Okay, it is a power of 2. So Periculos is in play. That is a 3-inch diameter area. I'm just going to leave the marker out there to help me remember that. And the spell is sitting there. This character ignores all the peril, attach it to the end of turn. See, this will not affect them, the all clear. It would if it came up in the same turn. In other words, they've already activated, so they're not going to be affected by the. Remember that you roll for a perilous area when that character activates. So neither one of those characters that those thorns are growing up around them, right? Neither one of them are going to be affected yet. They will be affected. They will have to roll to see if they're affected when they activate. So both of them are safe at this point, but you could tell the thorns are rising up. So we've activated those 4 characters. What am I going to do with my swords on this side? If I leave them close, they're going to just get rushed. Or I let my archers get rushed. All right, well, I'm going to pull them back a little bit. No, I'm not. I'm going to let them hold the line. I'm going to let them try and hold this line over there. And maybe we can keep them... maybe we can keep them in play with the Mindos. So they're going to hold that line on this side. Boars over here is a level 2 ally. He's just a brawler. Does he go in or does he hold back? Hmm. Hmm. I think he's going to adjust a little bit, and he'll move back here with Ginna. And then my hero, so she just rushed into the fray last week, or last time we played. I'm going to adjust her, and she's going to move in this direction this way. Maybe that's playing too cautious. Maybe that's playing it a bit too cautious. So she moved over here. And that ends the turn. So we don't really have any spell recoveries to roll for. We don't have any normal recoveries or horror recoveries to roll for. So that's going to end the turn. Spell recovery you roll, very similar to the way horror recovery works, is if you have an enemy spell attached to you, then you get to roll the spell recovery. Simply being in an enemy spell does not allow you to roll a spell recovery because that periculos is attached to the ground there and all around you. It does not give you the opportunity to try and destroy the spell because it's not actually attached to you. And we tried that a lot of different ways. So that's just the way that we decided it worked the best. All right. And then we're going to end turn number 1. So not a particularly bad turn. Certainly not for the goodies they were able to keep. Ended the turn exactly the way they started. The baddies now have a perilous area on them over there, and they've lost one mob. But they are now getting into range to start blarfifying on things, so we'll just see how that goes. As we start turn number 2, again, we look at the table and we have to ask ourselves, shortcut. Was that the card they drew? All right, I'm going to just discard that because I'm not sure what I did there. All right, so we have to decide who's going to activate first. Gosh, I hate this. I'm going to activate these archers over here. I'm going to activate these archers. I'd like to draw an all clear. If I could draw an all clear, that would be cool. They are in the thorns now. The thorns are starting to grasp onto them. Their solo card is Move Along. Move Along has no effect, but it does not ignore the perilous area. So now we're going to have to draw a peril for them. The peril is 1 with Might or Finesse. They are a gang. That means they're going to get to roll 3 dice 6. They got the 1 success they needed. They ignore the peril and just walk on through. The vines were not particularly sticky yet, and they're going to move right on through it. Now, they will not be able to move more than 6 inches because they were in a perilous area this turn. They're going to move up this way, do a 6-inch move in this direction, and they're going to shoot at the archers. All right, they're going to shoot at the archers. They will have 4 dice 6 to roll. The archers will shoot back with 4 dice 6. Goblins, 2 hits. Archers, 3 hits. Oh, goodness. Okay, so here the goblins, and they are not being played as non-player characters. We're playing this as if they were another league. So what would you do there? Would you just deliver the 2 hits? Maybe you wouldn't in this situation, because if I deliver the 2 hits to that gang, that means my goblins are going to lose 3 models, and that would wipe them out. I don't think I'm willing to do that. So we're gonna play it. We're gonna play it a little bit safe here, and I'm gonna block one of those hits just so I can keep those guys in play. I'm gonna block one of them. So I'll take 2, lose 2 gobos, and they will lose 1. Okay. All right. Hello, Bob. Hello, Marjan. Hello, Rick. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Appreciate you. We're playtesting some Magic rules today. We have 5 spellcasters on the table today. Ridiculous. So let's get the spellcasters into play. Not yet. Not yet. I'm going to try and burn off some more solo cards before I do anything too risky here. What was that one? Oh, that was the peril. Okay. Over here. Where's my archers at? Over there? Okay. Well, I think I'm going to... They're in range to hit these guys. Maybe we just throw some... They're not in range to hit them. All right, so that's what we'll do, though. We're going to run. We're going to run with the... Uh-oh, I'm going to have to take a solo card. Solo card is... Hesitation. Doggone it. Cannot perform any actions. It cannot run. Poop. Poop. All right, well, I'll take my 6-inch move, then. I'll take my 6-inch move. And then I'm going to shoot at this group here. They will have, they're not in short range. So they'll only have 3 dice to roll. My little group of, now, this gang here is the archers. That means they would not suffer multiple fights penalty for shooting multiple times in the turn, just like this group over here won't. But based on the number of models in the unit, these fellas will still have 3 dice to shoot back, and they will. So here is the gang. 2 successes. Here is the goodies. They got 2 successes. 6 and 4 and 6 and 4. So, gosh, I hate that. I hate that. I think I'm going to go ahead and just, doggone it. I think I'm going to have to just play this one bloody. No, I'm going to take 1 each. I'm going to block 1. I'll take 1 off of my side, and I'll take 1 of these swords out of there. And the reason I played that a little bit safe there is because I have more folks coming at them, right? I have more folks that are going to be moving forward and engaging that group of swordsmen there. So I don't have to play it overly aggressive there. All right. The next group that I'm going to... Did I draw a solo card for them? I don't really remember. It was the hesitation, right? All right. So the next group that I'm going to activate is the mob that's way off on the left flank over here. Way over here. I'll draw a card for them. They drew Stand Firm. Well... That might not be great. Roll for the challenge below. I have to roll 2 successes with might or finesse. I can do neither of those. And if I fail that challenge, the character cannot move during this activation. Great. Okay, so they're done. So they're standing firm over there. All right. I could go ahead and shoot. I'll do it. I'm within 12 inches. Let's throw some poop at him. Throw poop. So I got 1 dice, because remember, a mob always rolls 1 dice for just about everything that they do. The only thing I could change that is a fortune card. They ignore all modifiers other than fortune cards. Solo cards at this, in a solo game, that means solo cards would be what would be used. I'm down to shooting back with 2 dice. No, I'm down to shooting back with 1 dice. I have 4 models. That means I'd normally roll 2, and I've been in a fight. I'm down to rolling 1 dice. Or dodging with 1 dice. I don't like those odds, boys and girls. What do you say there? If I dodge, I still roll 1 dice, but at least then I could mitigate the damage. We'll play it fat. I hate doing that. I'm gonna dodge. I don't want that flake to roll up. So my goodies are gonna try to dodge. Of course, they failed it. Oh no, they passed. The white dice was for the good guys. They didn't get anything anyway. So in that case, it probably would have been better to go ahead and shoot. Oh well. I have one more solo card that I have to throw on somebody, and it's going to be that group of spearmen back here. This group of spearmen will activate, so they'll get a solo card. Solo card is no shot. Doggone it, that's exactly what they were going to do, was to shoot. Wow. Wow. See, to me, that is so much far cooler. Like, I like that part of the solo rules. I like that so much better than a goofy chart that I have to roll on to find out what they do. Like, I love those sorts of events that just pop up and say, oops, something went wrong. Instead of those, rolling to find out what the other side does. Well, I guess they're going to rush. I don't want to rush. Oh, gone it. That's exactly what I was going to do. I was going to move up and shoot at those guys. All right. Well, then we'll just do the obvious, and they will rush. Says I cannot shoot, I will rush them. So here they come. Rawr. My spearmen. Okay, I did not give them. I'm not using any of the weapons rules, which I do like to do that. But since I'm playtesting the magic, I tried to keep it a little bit simpler. Remember that spearmen would normally gain a +1 bonus whenever they are ready. So I'm not going to apply that. They'll have 3 dice. They'll have 3 dice. And the gang over here will have 2 dice. Now the reason, I guess they've been in 2 fights, but this gang is the one that does not lose dice for multiple fights. So the spearmen are rolling 3 dice, and they are rolling 2 dice. Now that's an ability. That's not because of their weapons. So I spent all 3 of my solo cards. Here is my gang. The spearmen get 2 successes. They get 1 success. Couldn't block it even if I wanted to, so they will lose 2 models. I lose 2 of my goblins. 2 of these guys are gone. They're no longer combat effective, and they are removed. So, for everybody playing along at home, Emendo, the spell that could cause a gang to roll a recovery check, if a character is no longer on the table, it cannot roll a recovery check. So since that gang has been shattered and has run off, basically, cannot use Emendo to try and keep them in play. You have to target somebody that's in play with Emendo. Why do they still have 2 mod? Oh, those are the 2 I lost. Okay. So that's all of the solo cards. I sure would like to get up to a point where I could throw some spells. I'm going to advance this group, continue this side 6 inches. So the acolytes on this side are moving up. This is a spellcasting gang. They have the Revoco spell. I could cast Revoco up to 12 inches away. I'm not sure that I'm going to get it off, though. I'm not sure that I want to cast it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We're gonna toss it right back here. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to throw it right there. We're going to put it right, Revoco. And this is basically a burst. So it should be far enough, even if I roll a 3. If I roll a 3, I can't. Oh, yeah, I can. If I roll a 3, I'm going to hit my own guys. C'est la vie. We'll just let it happen. So here is the spell. They have a might of 3 dice, so here is the spell cast. Okay, 2. All right, so 2 successes means it is everybody within 2 inches. Well, that's not a diameter, that's a radius. So everybody within 2 inches of that marker is going to be hit by the spell. So it's basically going to be the archers, Ginna, and boars back here. So remember when, just like for a burst, when it affects multiple carols simultaneously, you flip over 1 card. Okay, well, it's not huge. It's 1 with might. We'll do the archers. Oh, that was close. The archers passed. We'll do Ginna. Oh, she's only got 1 dice. She failed. Health check passed, so she remains on her feet. And Boars. Boars is going to try to dodge the peril. He's got 3 dice 6 in dodge. And he dodges it. And, stay where he's at. I'm not gonna do a disengage move. Okay, so Revoco potentially could have done a lot there, but did not. Did absolutely nothing in there. It is a bit more of a random spell because the power of the spell is based on how big it is, but then you're relying on the luck of the draw. 50-50 chance to get that 1, or I could have got a 2 or even a 3, and that would have caused probably some significant damage in there. But as it was, that little burst did not do a lot of damage there, or any damage. And now we go to the other side of the table. So let's unleash an Ignis Ictus on this side. Who's a good target? Who is a good target? So the thing about the spells is that it's on a different realm. It's casting on in a different sort of environment. So when we say the 2 things that you have to think about is it in range and do you have line of sight? Those are the only 2 considerations. So it doesn't matter if the enemy is in a brawl. It doesn't matter. You could target an enemy that's in a brawl with one of your own characters. It doesn't matter. You could target an enemy that, there's another one I was going to say. I don't remember. Anywho, really, is it in range and do you have line of sight? Doesn't matter if they're closest. You could ignore a unit that's closer to throw a spell on somebody else. So for spells, they do have a little bit, and it basically gets down to playtesting and just the balance of them. Those guys are activate. Oh, it went black there for a second. Stupid. Oh, I hate this. Stop it. Stop. So we've tried several different chords. We've tried several different adapters to try and get this issue resolved. And I've been trying to do searches online to figure out why, this stupid camera that, better camera, is functioning far less, not as well as the previous version. So when I activate that other group of spellcasters over there, they are going to have to take a peril. Doggone it. All right, that's what we'll do. We will activate that group of spellcasters. So they'll take a peril. It is a random peril drawn from the top. This time it is a 2. Luckily, it's got might on there for them, but that means they're going to have to roll 2 successes on 3 die 8. 2 successes on 3 die 8. They did not. Oh, dear. And they're going to lose 2 models. Boop. Boop. Wow. By the time, and that ends their activation. Wow. Not good. Not good. Man. So that ended their activation there, and they will not be able to throw their spell. All right, let's see what our archers could do over here. Our spearmen. Spearmen, if they wanted to rush somebody, would have to go up against Eugenia here. That's the leader of this side, level 4 character. Yikes. That doesn't sound great. I don't think I want to go. Wow. Okay. It'd be nice if I could cause some damage to her first. Maybe Neva has something tricky. Maybe Neva has something tricky she could do. What do you guys think? Let's take a look at Neva's spells. So she's over here. So she could try to scooch around onto this side and maybe throw a spell at yeah. Okay. Ignis Ictus, boys and girls. Ignis Ictus is the way. Boy, Fragor would be nice. Not close enough for Fragor yet. I feel like I need to get these archers, this group of spearmen out of the way. Obscuring. Oh, obscuring and perilous is the terrain. Obscuring, I can still target through that. Okay. Obscuring and perilous. So I just don't want to be standing in it. But I have to be within 12. I got it. Okay. Scooch her up just a little bit more. All right. So she's going to throw Ignis Ictus. Now, that is some blarfy goodness. Because she's got, starts off with a might of 3 die 8. She also has Agio on her. That gives her an extra dice in might. So now she's throwing 4 die 8. And Eugenia is defending with 3 die 10. Now, in an opposed check, all you're looking for is who rolls the most successes. 4s are better as always. Don't get caught up in trying to figure out the numbers. Just roll more successes than the enemy. 3 successes from Neva. And now, so Eugenia is going to have to roll 3 successes. And she does. The spell is done. It has no effect whatsoever. Now, if that spell had worked, it would have caused 3 hits because that's the power of the spell, the number of successes that was rolled. It's the power of the spell. I forgot that she has the extra plus 6 inches. I need to remember that. All right. Well, it is not looking good for the baddies today. It is not looking good for the baddies. Not sure what they're going to do. They're taking too many losses. Let's just see what happens here. So that was the spearmen have not activated. The last group, the spearmen, are going to activate over there. And they're going to advance. Whew. They're just going to move. I don't want to let them. I need to keep some bodies on the table. They're just going to come up here and sneer. They're going to move up here and sneer. Sneer at you. See, the reason I have to be a little bit cautious there is because the goodies haven't activated yet. I could move up with those spearmen and rush in there and attack Eugenia. But then, maybe I would get an injury. Maybe I wouldn't. But then Eugenia would get to activate next. And, yeah, that would not have been good. Where are my other spearmen at? I thought I had 2 groups of spearmen. Oh, yeah, those right there. So the spearmen are the loyal gangs, so they will actually stay in, and they can lose one more model than the other ones. And that's all. That's all the baddies got done. Whew. I don't know. They're not having a good day. So now the good guys are going to activate. This group will activate, and they're going to shoot at that group. These are both the archer gangs, so they do not lose dice for multiple fights. Based on the number of models, they will roll 2 dice, and the goblins will roll 2 dice. Here's the roll. Goblins got 2, they got 1. Ooh, are you willing to? They're the active character, so they get to decide the blocking. If they don't block, they're going to be wiped out. But you know what that does do? Is it wipes out both units. So this group will take 2. That group will take 1. Well, we'll do it. We'll do the trade, right? Is that what you do in chess? Sometimes. But for this, they're going to go. Oh, I hate doing that. I don't want to do that. Because I got a healer on my side. If I stay and play, I have a chance of getting back in it. I'm not going to do that. So I will use my 1 hit to block theirs. And that means they lose a model. All right. Doggone it. Over here. So Breck. Nebulo and Fortis Velo. I think he's going to do his Fortis Velo this turn. Yeah. Now he's got to do his heal, doesn't he? I got too many units with injuries. Okay, that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to try it. But I'm going to try this first. I'm going to have Boars go in over here. He's going to roll 3 dice 6. The gang will roll, that is a group of spearmen. They have been in 1 fight. They're down to rolling 1 dice. All right, sounds good to me. Here's Boars. Boars gives them an absolute thrashing. And what is so good about this, what is so good about rolling 3 successes like this against a gang is that I could afford to lose dice. They didn't even get a single success. But if they had, the point was that if they had got a success, I could have blocked it and still wiped them out. This is a loyal gang, but they are destroyed. Oh, goodness me. Now what? Now what? So they've activated Genna, my archers. Okay. The archers, from where they are, don't think I'm going to move them. They'll stay where they're at, and they're going to shoot at this group of archers over here. So they'll be rolling 4 dice. The spearmen could shoot back. This group, this is the archers. They won't lose a dice for multiple fights. This group has not been in a fight. Both of them will be rolling 4 dice because of the short range. They got 2 successes, 5 and a 6. Oh, they got 3 6s. And their formation was destroyed. Wow. Wow. So if I block 1, if I don't block, that unit's going to be completely wiped off the map. Wow. Wow. Okay, well, I'm going to have to block 1. I can't do anything about the other one, so I will lose 2 models. Boop, boop. They will lose 1 model. Boop. Wow. They are barely holding on. Okay. All right, Gina. Gina and, I guess. So I'm holding on to my heels. I'm holding on to my amendos and letting as many people get hurt as possible. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to send Eugenia in. So we haven't used our healers yet. So we're going to find out what kind of damage we really have and assess it from there. So the next thing is that Eugenia is going to go in and attack these folks here. She's rolling 3 die 10. They are down to 2 models now. They have not been in a fight, so they will be rolling. I'm sorry, they're down to 2 dice is what I should have said. So they're rolling 2 die 6 back. She's rolling 3 die 10 at them. Here is the roll. 2 successes, 4 and a 9. Here is my spearman. They got a 5. Okay. She is armored, right? She's armored, right? Yeah, she's armored. So she's the active character. If I hit them with both, it's going to wipe them out. But that means I take a hit. I think we're going to have to do it that way. So she's not going to block here. She's not going to block because she wants to destroy that group. She's not going to block. Isn't that cool that you get to make those decisions? Like, how is she fighting? Is she in there giving it all she has and willing to risk it? Or is she playing it safe? That's what it means. And for those of you that have been in a fight, now I have never been in a fight in my entire life, but I've seen them on TV. So I know. She's going to move up. She's going to hit him with a couple. She'll take the hit. So she's going to give it all she has. That means she is going to take 1 hit. She is armored, so she gets to roll an extra dice for that. I have to fail with both of these and failed with neither. So she is okay. Bip, bip, and the goodies are freaking cutting through the goblin horde like butter today. Goodness me, oh my. Wow. I don't feel like my acolytes have had a good chance to really throw their spells. Putting that periculos on this group of acolytes over here, that has really hemmed them in because they've got those thorns growing up around them, right? So that has really kept them out of it. Their Revoco over here hasn't done a lot either. So now it's my healers or my spellcasters on the good guy side. So now Gina. Gina is, what is that token sitting there for? Oh, that was for the spell. She's going to move 6 inches into the middle of the pile. And she's going to do her Emendo. What's the range of my Yeah, she's got to do Emendo. She could maybe try to get in range to knock down the enchantment that Neva has over there. She does have the Purgatrix spell, so she could try to sever those threads. But she's going to try and just hold. She's going to try and heal her group over here. She has 2 potential targets. She's going to roll 2 dice. This group and this group. She gets 2 successes. Both of them are going to get to roll a recovery check. This group over here. Boom! It's a recovery. Oh my God. Let's see this group over here. Boom! It's a recovery. Wow. Now, what does Breck do the exact same thing? Does Breck do the exact same thing and try and get both of those groups up to full strength? Or is he going to throw something else? I think so. Several different thoughts here. He could do a Mendo and try and get those 2 groups back up to 5. He's got Nebulo. Creates a difficult area and obscuring area. Could put that over here to block this group from advancing on this side, or at least to slow them down. He has Fortis Velo, which he could use to cast an enchantment on a friendly character to make them armored or indomitable or untouchable. So I thought about indomitable on Eugenia, so that would give her a recovery check, a reroll on a recovery check. But at this point, like, I feel like just beefing up those 2 groups. Yeah, let's just go for that. So Breck is going to try to... I don't like this group over here coming around, though. Yeah, we're going to do our Emendo. So he's got 4 die 8 in his cutting. 4 die 8. He's going to be able to pick 3 different targets. 3 targets can roll a recovery check. He really only has 2 targets that he can pick, so you cannot double stack. So I'll give you a recovery check for this gang and 1 for this one. For this gang over here, they do not. This gang over here, they do not. Well, there you go. So that was my worry, right? That was what I was worried about, because I knew that if I had done my Fortis Velo, I could have made somebody armored. I could have made Breck armored. I could have put Indomitable on her. It would have worked, almost guaranteed. Nebulo would have done something, could have closed off, or at least tried to close off an area. But with that one, I was like, man, I could give them a recovery check, but then I might just fail the roll. So it's not guaranteed. So that's what the balance is, right? Is you got to try and decide those things. All right, here we go. That was turn 2. This is, maybe, I don't know. maybe it's turn 2. I think it counts. Stand firm is gone. We are starting turn number 3. Again, we do not have any recovery checks to roll for. Gangs do not normally get to roll a recovery check, so the only reason they get to roll a recovery check is because of those 2 spells that those guys can cast, and that's what lets them get guys back. You also have Rally. Oh, I forgot about Rally. Eugenia has Rally, so she could make one of them do a recovery check. Also, we'll do this one over here. And, of course, it doesn't work either. Yeah, Eugenia has Rally. So, they do not. As we start turn number 3. Boy. Going first has not been helping the bad guys. Going first has not been helping the bad guys. But I don't know that I want to do. Don't know that I want to switch that. Freaking hate that freaking Periculos. He got that on my dang casters over there. All I have to do, and it was when they drew for it, they weren't able to use their might. I don't remember. I think that's how it was. All right. Okay. We're gonna try and cause some havoc. We've got to try and cause some damage this time. We're going to start off by activating this group of gobos over here. This group of goblins way off on this side over here. They're going to get a solo card. The solo card is On Guard. Doggone it. I have to roll for the challenge below. I have to roll 2 successes with Might, Finesse, or Cunning. They cannot do that. They always roll 1 dice for everything because they are a mob. The consequences of failing is they cannot move during this activation. Wow. Okay. And that's also that balancing factor. We took a lot of time playtesting this stuff. People that don't play these solo rules don't really understand the way they work. You know, when you play it the way it's designed, you realize that, you know, those are the things that keep it balanced. Yes, I'm letting those guys go first. And a lot of people are like, well, that makes it too easy for them. You know, it's no. You obviously haven't played it if you really think that. Gosh, that stinks. All right, we're going to send another group in. My archers will pull over this way. And we're going to throw some pointy sticks at boars over here. So they're going to have 3 dice 6 coming at him. He will be dodging with 3 dice 6. Here is their attack. Nothing. Wow. He'll take his inch back. Yeah. All right. We have got to make something just... Did I forget to draw a card for them? I probably did. The next... So those 2 have activated. I should have drawn a card for them, right? Missing clue. Character cannot run during this activation. So they will automatically fail it. They won't be able to... 2 successes with Finesse or Cunning. Just meant that they could not run, is all that did, and they did not run, so that did not change anything. Next group I'm going to activate are the Acolytes over here, this gang of spellcasters. That was their solo card. That was their solo card held in place. So they're not going to be able to move. The next thing that you do, and remember that fortune cards or solo cards are resolved before situational effects. So that is the right way to do that. You draw the solo card first before you resolve their peril. So for their peril, doggone it, 2 with Might or Finesse. They're going to have to roll 2 successes. They're going to have to roll 2 successes or they're going to just be wiped out. And they did not. They take the 2 hits, and they are wiped out. Doggone it. So those guys never even got to cast their spell. I don't think, if I remember right. They never even got to cast it. And that is the chances that you take when you take low-level casters. When you take a level 2 caster, you cannot expect great things from them. Oh, God, man. I needed them. This flake is gone. There is nothing. There is nothing over here. Neva is peeking around the corner over there going, what the hell? I thought I had a big army over here. That was all of my solo cards. So now 6 inches forward. This gang is going to move up a little bit. And they're going to put their Revoco 12-inch marker. I'm going to put it right here. So that. So if I put it there, I have a chance of hitting. Shift it a little bit. Might even be able to catch her. Okay. That's where I'm going to drop it. They get to roll 3 dice 6. That's going to be the radius of the spell. Oh, good God. So everybody within 1 inch will get a peril. And it is a 2 this time. So everybody within 1 inch, and that will simply be... Yeah, she's over an inch. So that will simply be Breck and this group of archers. We'll have to roll for that peril. So it has might on there. Doggone it. So this group of archers will get to roll 2 dice. They failed it. They lose 2 models, and they are wiped out. Boop, boop. Breck will get to roll his might, and he has 3 die 8 in might. He needs 2 successes. He passed it and is not injured. And that is the complete resolution of that spell. Doggone it. I needed 1 more success to have caught Genna in that spell. Oh, well. I should have left it closer to her. I should have left it a little bit closer. I was taking that chance. I was playing it fast and loose, and I wanted to get it where if I rolled at least 2 successes, I was going to catch Eugenia too. But that cost me getting Genna. All right. So they're done. So now over here, I'm just going to have to go. That's all my solo cards. There's still a Periculos over there. I'm going to send this gang in, this mob, in on boars. God, I hate to do that. I'm not. They're going to roll 1 dice. They're going to roll 2 dice at him. He's going to roll 3 dice back. Okay, let's just play it fast and loose. The goblins are going in. Yeah! No reason to have any models on the table at the end of the scenario, if you can avoid it. They have been lugging around this make it counts, so they will use that now. They would normally only get to roll 1 dice because they are a mob. The make it count will give them their 2nd dice. Boars has been Boars in a fight. He wasn't with Archer shot at him. Did I miss something there? The Archers shot at him, didn't they? So he's rolling 2 dice. All right. Am I forgetting something there? Did my archers shoot at him? Does anybody remember? I think 1 or 2 ads. I have been normal interruptions. You know, it's set on the lowest possible thing for the ads. It's not supposed to get a lot of interruptions, but, you know, when you're a high-end, you know, enterprise like ours, they know there's tons of people on here watching, so they're trying to get their revenue. So 2 dice coming from both. Red dice are my gobos. Boar's got nothing. He takes 2 hits. He's gonna have to roll a 2 dice health check, and he is down. Boars is down. Look at that, boys and girls. The baddies are making a comeback. They used that card. He got nothing. He did not even get a single hit on that mob. So or did my archers not even activate? Doggone it. Surely I did my archers already over there. On this side, these archers. Okay, we're going to move Neva. So what is Neva going to do? What is Neva going to do, boys and girls? Neva the witch. Here she comes. 6 inches right up here, moving into the fray. I think I'm going to have to go with Fragor here. So I could use Ignis Ignis as a single target spell. So that's the difference that I have to contemplate here. Is I could just try to blarfify something, or I could Fragor. Fragor is only going to do a single hit, though. So I could cause a hit to the gang of archers. That's not enough to take them out. I could cause a hit to Ginna. I could cause a hit to Breck. So the way Fragor works, just so you know, is I'm going to roll 4 die 8 because that's what her might is, and then I will get to pick a number of targets equal to the number of successes that I get. So if I happen to roll 4 successes, I'd get to pick 4 of them, and each one of them would have to roll a 1 dice health check, cause 1 more injury over there, 1 on Ginna, 1 on Breck, 1 on her. So it doesn't cause a lot of damage, but it has the potential of hitting a lot of targets. You know what? If Boars was still up, I might go that way. But now that Boars is down, I think I might try and wipe out that group of archers. I think I might try and wipe out that group of archers over there. I could cast it against Ginna. I could try and blarf on her. I could cast it against Breck. I could cast Ignis Ignis on really anybody that I could see right now. So maybe I couldn't get Ginna because she's kind of back behind those 2 characters. As far as line of sight, I could always adjust her move a little bit. I love being able to think about a game. You know, that's the joys that I get out of gaming. I hate games that don't really give the players an opportunity to truly play the game, right? That's what I enjoy. That the idea that I have choices and decisions and things like that doesn't mean I'm always going to pick the right one. And oftentimes it is those choices of risk and reward. You know, what are you going to go for? All right. We're gonna try and blarf those archers into oblivion. We're going to try and blurf them out. So they're going to roll 2 die 6 to defend against it because it's a might versus might. She's going to roll 4 die. Oh, that's pleasant. She's going to roll 4 die 8. Again, she's got to roll more successes. Okay, she got 4 successes. There's no way. There's no way they can beat that or even tie it. 4 successes means that group takes 4 hits. 4 hits. 4 hits totally obliterates them. She really only needed 2, but that will remove them from the table. All right, now my archers. Okay, what I don't want to do here is I don't think I want to let my archers get... So we're going to talk about removing periculos here in just a little bit. So Breck can voluntarily suck this spell back, but he has to do it at the end of the turn. So that's why it is still out there and still in play. My archers are going to pull back here and defend Neva. I could shoot, but this group of archers is hanging on. If I lose one more model, they're going away, and I can't afford that. I could shoot at Eugenia, but if I did that and she shot back and I lost one model, that would leave Neva out in the air again, and I can't. I'm not willing to let Eugenia jump on top of Neva, so that's where I'm going to stop there. And now it's the good guys. Pretty sure that was everybody. Yeah. Okay, goodies. All I have left over here is Genna, Breck, and Eugenia. My 2 spellcasters and the leader. Okay. Well, I think what we're going to do here I think I'm going to try to... Let me take a look at Purgatrix again. I don't remember what range I set on that. Genna has 2 spells. She has Purgatrix and Amendo. Six-inch range. So she could stop Agio potentially. As long as she gets a success, she could pull Agio down. She could also do her Amendo and try and get Boars up. I think that action can wait. So we're going to hold on to her for a little bit. We know Boars can't do anything yet, so we're going to hold on to her. Breck could either cast his enchantment and try and help out Eugenia. He could cast his Nebulo. Cast Amendo. I think we're gonna wait on Breck too. So we're just gonna go straight to Eugenia, and she's going after the witch. Unfortunately, she has a group of spell shooters in front of her. They are gonna be able to use defensive fire as she rushes in. So she rushes in. They have 2 models. That means they'd normally get 2 dice. They're gonna get 3rd dice. They haven't even been in a fight, so they're going to be shooting at her with 3 die 6. She's coming in brawling, so she's rolling 3 die 10. I'm going to try and get to that witch. Here she goes. A 9 is all she got. That is enough to wipe them out. However, they got a success. So what do you do there? You take it. You take the hit. You think about that for a half second. You decide, do I want to take that hit or I want to block it? I'm going to take the hit because otherwise I can't get rid of them. So I'm going to take the hit and I'll give them a hit. That's enough to break them and they will scatter. And now Neva's got nobody over here between her and a long straight toothpick. However, Eugenia does take a hit. So when you play it fast and loose, she gets an extra dice because of her armor, and she is not injured. So her armor, her knightly armor, her shield as she wades into that fray. And now she's against the witch. So I held on to Breck and Ginna. So neither of them have activated. I'm going to activate Ginna next. What's the range on a Mindo? 12. So she's going to activate and move. Breck. Breck will activate and move. Oh, I gotta shut this off. They're going to be streaming through over there. I gotta do something over there. All right, we're going to start with Ginna. Ginna will activate. She's going to move. See, here's something you got to remember about Emindo. Emindo, she's going to cast Emindo. She gets 2 dice because that's what her cunning is. It's based on cunning. Now, what it does is, remember, all it does is it gives you a recovery check. I get to pick one target. The one target I'm going to pick is boars. Now, what happens if I fail this? Just like a normal recovery check. But I did not fail it. I passed it. Boars gets back up. The answer was there, if you fail a recovery check while you are down, you are removed from play. And that is exactly what would have happened there. If I'd have rolled a 1, 2, or a 3, boars would have been removed from the table. Remember, whenever you stand up in base-to-base contact with enemy characters, you have the option of backing away. I will back away an inch. Boy, that gives me a lot of options. And just for the record, remember that Boars has not activated this turn. So he could still activate, or he actually has to activate now. All right, we're going to try and be a little bit tricky here. I'm going to pull Boars back. I'm going to move Breck into 6 inches. And what we're going to do there is, after he moves, he's going to cast Nebulo, and he's going to put a Nebulo into play. What Nebula does is it is a 6-inch diameter, so it is as big as this. You know what? I don't want to have Eugenia in it. So it is as big as this, and cast it up to. I'm going to set it right there. He's in it. She's in it. He's in it. Eugenia's not in it. Keep him a little bit closer to the center of it. So it is an area here that is a 6-inch diameter, and it is both difficult and obscuring. I didn't get him far enough back. Oh well, it is what it is. And that's it. And that ends the turn. I don't have any recovery checks to roll for. All of the gangs are now gone. Neva has put herself in a very tricky position over here. This flank was rolled up. All she is hanging out over there on her own. Still has a little bit of help over here, but all of Eugenia's gangs are gone now, and she's got her sidekick and 2 level 2 characters. Not a really strong position here as we start turn number 4. Whew. Who's going to go first? Sorry. One other thing that I'm going to do at the end of that turn is Breck is going to retrieve this spell. So voluntarily pulls it down, and it is now back in his hand as we start turn number 4. So he can cast that spell this turn. So I'd love for them to go first, right? I'd love for my good guy side, and this is where you really think about that. Look at this table and say, well, I want my guys to go first, because Eugenia is going to walk up there and start chopping Neva in half. Breck is going to throw his Periculos right over here, maybe try and catch a couple different groups with it. And that is exactly why I do not let them go first, right? If you're mature and you understand these things, that's how it is intended to be played. When you look at this and you say, I want to go first, that's why you don't let your side go first. Solo games are really a test of your league. Can they survive, a very difficult situations? And it is very balanced. You just have to play it the right way. So now, they're in this area that is difficult and obscuring, except for Eugenia. So, if I try to move over 6 inches, what a difficult area does, if I try to move over 6 inches, then I got to take a peril. They've got cover. So I'm going to start things off with my archers. Doggone it. That means I'm going to have to take a solo card. When it counts. Yes, indeed. Give them a solo card. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad. So they're going to move up a bit so they have short range for Breck, and they're going to shoot at him. They have 3 die 6. He has 3 die 6. He's dodging. When it counts, applies to, they got 3 successes. He got 1 success. Stopped 1, takes 2. He is okay, boys and girls, with a 4 out of 6. Does not go down. He has been in a fight. Doggone it, I wish I'd activated my spellcasters. All right. Send my mob in next. Send my mob in. They're less than 6 inches from Breck. If I could get a hit on him. It feels like it's such a bad idea. All right. I'm going to activate my spellcasters next. Doggone it. Please don't be bad. All clear. How nice is that? Attach until end of turn. Okay. That'll work. So they're just going to shuffle a little bit. They're going to get over here a little bit. And they're going to drop their Revoco spell right here. Right back here. Because they have line of sight to there. And everybody is within 2-inch diameter. So every one of them, as long as I get a success, they will all be caught. Here is the spell. I got 2 successes, so that is everybody within 2 inches of this marker is caught. I can take that off now because I know all of their characters have been caught in it. And we're going to draw for a peril. And it is huge, boys and girls! Holy cow, a 3 finally comes up. It is a 3. Every one of those characters is going to have to roll for a 3 dice health check. Whew. All right, Breck. He's got 4 die 8. 4 die 8. Needs 3. And he does it. That was the guy in the green robe. Here is for neither Genna nor Boars can pass that. And they will go straight to health check. Here is for Genna. Genna down. Boars. Boars so close, but not good enough. Boars down. Oh my god. And Eugenia. Eugenia has 3 die 10. She's got to get all 3 successes. And she does, boys and girls. 3 successes. Wow. Wow. Okay. When it counts was on skies. Add an all clear. Okay. So that's my 3 solo cards. Neva, you fool. You fool, Neva. What are you going to do? Eugenia is out for blood. You're standing there next to somebody that wants to chop you in half. All of your friends are gone. Is this one of those situations where you take off into the perilous area? Is this one of those situations where you head into the mound and hope that you can handle it better than they can? Let me look at Neva's stats again. She's got 3 die 8 on dodge. I don't want. I let Eugenia get on top of her. She's gonna start whackety smackety. I'm gonna take off into the mound. I'm taking off. I'm gonna activate her. I don't have to draw a solo card. I'm backing it up. I'm backing it. I'm backing it. So as soon as she comes into contact with this, she's gonna have to roll for a peril. Random peril. 1 with finesse or cunning. She's got 3 die 8 in cunning. Don't have anything else to help me. Okay, got it. Not a big deal. All right, so she is heading into the woods. She is heading into the mound. So because she's got 6 inches back away from Eugenia here, that will also prevent Eugenia from even being able to rush her because she is now 6 inches away from Eugenia. Remember, you cannot move over 6 inches if you come into contact with the perilous area at any point during your activation. So Eugenia, so a risky move. Neva backs up. Now, does she go Blarfy or does she try to hit both of them for 1 hit? Eugenia's not going to be hurt by Fragor. Like, she's armored, she's rolling D10s. The chances of Eugenia being hurt by Fragor is very, very minimal. It only does 1 hit. I throw my Ignis Ictus. So we're going to throw Ignis Ictus. And she's got 4 die 8. 4 die 8 in that spell. Now, who's my low-hanging fruit? Who do I really think? Do I really want to go up against Eugenia here, or am I going to try and pull everything else out from underneath her? I'm going to go for Breck. I'm going to go for Breck. Breck only has 3 die 8 in might. Ugh. 3 die 8 in might versus her 4 die 8. That is not a great contest there, but it is one more dice advantage, so I guess we're going to go that route. She's going to throw Ignis Ictus, and she's going to try and get an injury on Breck. Okay, here we go. Mama Neva throwing 4 die 8 on Breck. This is obscuring. All that means is that with normal shooting, it would have 4 successes, boys and girls, 4 successes, and that means cannot beat that with 3 dice, and it is a blarf. He takes 4 hits, has to roll a 4 dice health check. Boom. And he almost passes it, but not enough. 1 was enough to singe his short and curly hairs. His short and curlies have been burned off. All right, boys and girls. That was the last of the baddies, right? Look at this table. Have things turned around? I don't know. He's got Nebulo up. He's trying to... It is a 6-inch area. Cuts into that. They can't go through there. They're going to have to go around that way. Breck, what are you going to do? All right. He's going to have to throw his Mindo, isn't he? If he could get those 2 characters up. But what happens if he fails? They're gone. If they fail their recovery check, I should say. All right. He could do that. Oh, what about Periculos, though? He's got his Periculos back in his pocket. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That changes things now. If I throw Periculos over here, some thorns growing up around his archers and his spellcaster, wipe out another group of spellcasters with that damn Periculos. Let this mob, don't care about them. I think that's the way. Oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? Do I try and bring up my buddies? Try and bring up Ginna and Boars? Does it really help them, though? Because they're going to get a recovery check at the end of the turn anyway. The only difference right now would be if I could get them up, they would actually get to activate this turn. Regardless of what spell he casts, he's going to move about 1.5 inches that way, just to keep him over 6 inches from all of the enemy characters. I gotta go Periculo. Gotta get my guys up. I could cast it, and they could still fail. I could lose them both. If I cast Periculos, I know it's going to be in effect. Could drop them on there. They could draw a 1 and not be affected. You know, have a good chance as long as it has might on it. Did damn good work over there. I can't catch all 3 of them in it, but I can put it right there and guarantee to catch both the archers and that spellcasters. I'm going to do that. We're going Periculos. They're going to get a recovery check at the end of the turn anyway. And I was trying to think, what would they do if I got him up? If I got her up, she'd probably cast a Mindo, try and heal him. If he failed, he would be gone. You know, if they fail, like they're going to do nothing anyway, because they would be removed from the table. Boars would probably just stay in his bubble, so he wouldn't really do anything either. So I'm going to go with Periculos. All right. So I get 4 die 8 to see what the power of the spell is. And it is a 3. Again, not a big reason to keep track of that, other than the idea that if I had failed, if somebody had a dispel, I guess we ought to start using those a little bit more so you guys can see what disenchantments can do, you know, pulling enchantments down more. Neva wishes she had a disenchantment to take down that stupid Periculos. But the thing about those is that those are specialty spells, right? You hate putting one of those in your spell book and saying, well, I'm going to have a disenchant in my book. Because if the enemy doesn't have any enchantments, you know, it doesn't do anything. Just like Genna has a spell that can just wipe an enchantment out. Boom, it's gone. But then you're always weighing, you know, that against doing other things, you know. But anyway, you know. So that is now a perilous area. And so when they activate, when those units activate, that's when they'll have to roll for that. Eugenia, what the heck is she going to do? What is she going to do? If she moves, she's not in the perilous, in the Nebulos right now. She's not in the Nebulos. Neva has run off into the mound. You know what? Maybe I turn around and just walk over here and slaughter another group of goblins. How about that? But the thing is, if I run through the Nebulo, the cloud here, now there was a version of Nebulo, just for everybody that's out there, there was a version of Nebulo that only affected enemy characters. But it was moved, it was adjusted, playtesting. And now Nebulo affects everybody. So if I move through it on a run, I will have to roll for a perilous area. Now, I would want to say that about Periculos, boys and girls. Periculos only affects enemy characters. So you could drop it right on your own feet. That's terrible. That's like, oh my gosh. So enemies that are coming up and wanting to fight you will have to deal with the perilous area around you, yada, yada. So it is a level 3 spell, so it's you're not going to have a lot of them out there normally, but it's a pretty cool spell. But it is the one fighting spell that the Green Branch has. I don't have to be that aggressive, do I? I don't have to run over there and slaughter stuff, but I will, because that's just part of the fun. All right, she's going to whirl around and she's going to run through the cloud, or at least that's her intention. As soon as she comes into contact with it, that's where she will have her peril. And her peril is 2 with might or cunning. She'll roll 3 die 10. She needs 2 of them. She got it, and she will continue on and run over here and see if she can remove a group of fellas from the table. Neva backs up. She's rolling 3 die 10. Gobos. That is a mob, so they'll roll 1 dice. She gets a 7 and a 5. They get a nothing. They take 2. 2 models gone. Boop. Boop. And that ends the turn. That was everybody. So we do have recovery checks, boys and girls. We do have recovery checks. We'll start using more different spells. This time I think I probably used too many spells that we used same from last time. So we'll start using more enchantments and just a different variety of spells as we go forward. Now there's something like 36 spells, if I remember right, in the deck. So there's a lot of spells. But inevitably, you kind of gravitate towards the ones that you think are your favorites, and you'll probably, use those fairly often. All right. That is the turn. Recovery checks. Over here. So we're going to roll for Breck. Breck remains injured. Genna is on her feet. Yes, indeed. Bors is gone. Okay. That's my Nebulo. It's gone. That's okay. Over here. All right. We are starting turn number 5. This is a 6-turn scenario. Goodness me. This could still be anybody's game with... Oh my goodness. So, again, I'm going to look at this and I'd go... I would really like my side to go first. I'd really like, you know... Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I wouldn't activate Eugenia first. Maybe this is a time when I make the other side go first. Here's the one advantage that I can think about as I look at this table. If Neva could blarf, on Breck again and give him another injury and put him down, that would make his periculos disappear. So they have an advantage to going first. Over here, this is a disadvantage, but I think that's big. That's a big advantage for them. I'm going to go that route. I'm going to let the baddies go first again. We're going to start off by activating... I think that was already attached to them. Let's start off by activating this mob. Double down. Draw and play 2 solo cards to the enemy closest. Well, that's going to be Eugenia. Until the end of the turn, she cannot shoot or place a burst. Quirk of Fate. All other solo cards currently in play are immediately canceled. So all of these solo cards go away now. Okay, so that resolves their solo cards. They will now fight. They're going to roll 1 dice. Eugenia will have 3 die 10. Boom. They got a 5 this time. That's all they needed. That's all they needed. And they get slaughtered. So, no real reason to block. So they'll go ahead and send their 1 hit through. They will take 3 hits and be scrubbed. So, Eugenia will get to roll 2 dice because she's armored. And she is okay. Next is going to be Neva. I want to activate Neva next because what I'm concerned about is I don't want those other ones to go. So I'm gonna go with Neva. Neva. Roll for the challenge. I'm furious. Roll for the challenge below. Oh, that could be bad. I don't want to do that. Roll for the challenge below. 2 with might or cunning. Draw 4. Okay. Okay, passed it. Pass. Character ignores all multiple combat penalties. Okay, well, she's furious now. She is furious. She is mad. Mama Neva is upset. Oh, crap. I mean, she's in a perilous area. Crap. Okay. She's going to have to roll 2 successes with might or cunning. I guess that's the dangers of wandering off into the perilous area. So she passes it. Oh, crap. Okay. So maybe now she shouldn't be in there. She is furious, so furious is going to attach to her. It will remain attached for the rest of the scenario until something happens to remove it. So she is furious. She will ignore all multiple combat penalties for the rest of the scenario. So I don't think I want to stay in the woods anymore because that's a bad spot. So I gotta blarf all over Breck. I gotta give Breck a good blarfing. So she's gonna come back this way. She's moving out of the woods. She's staying back this way though, trying to keep a safe distance. She doesn't want to be in rushing range of the slice and dicer. I should have put power tokens on this to show how many it had, but it's almost irrelevant for this scenario. So she's gonna blarf on Breck again. She's throwing 4 die 8. He's defending with 4 die 8 though, so not a great. She gets 4 successes again, boys and girls. She is furious, furious. So 4 successes. He has to roll a 4 dice health check. Boom. And he almost passes it. 1-3 is enough to say you go down. When a spellcaster goes down, every spell that they currently have in play goes away. So Periculos is gone, removed from the table. Now, the way that works is that it is set aside until the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, the spellcaster can retrieve their spell. So even if Breck, for some reason, was up right now, or even if, like, Genna throws Emendo and gets him back on his feet, he cannot technically cast Periculos again this turn. He will not actually retrieve it until the end of the turn. So Periculos is just set aside until the end of the turn. And Nebulo is gone. Nebulo is also gone. So both of those spells are removed from play. They are no longer in play, and they are set aside until the end of the turn. Well, now that means this group over here is free. Those vines that were popping up and growing around them. Okay. I still need to draw one more solo card. So neither of them have activated. It'll be the archers. Archers will activate the calm. Oh my gosh. No character can run, rush, or attack for the remainder of this turn. Okay. So, I know we've talked about this before. There's a rule in the rule book. There's a term called special attack. A special attack includes things like targeting an enemy or creating a peril. So anything that creates a peril or targets an enemy is considered a special attack. And if an event or situation or whatever, an effect, prevents characters from attacking, it also prevents special attacks. So that's why when things like parlay are played, you still can't do bursts. You still can't do, a spell that would create a peril or things like that, which is exactly what Revoco does. Revoco creates a peril, a burst, so it cannot be cast either. The Calm, that's basically like the solo version of Parlay. Now that's interesting. That is interesting. So they cannot run. Interesting. My goodness. All right, this is what they can't run. Wonder how far 6 inches would get them this way. 6 inches off this way. I don't like that. That leaves my spellcasters hanging in the wind over there. I don't like that. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. Let's not do that. I need to protect my spellcasters a little bit better. There's a chance that they could still do something. I have to get first. Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna leave my archers there, growling. Yeah. All right. That'll end their activation. That was my third solo card. My spellcasters, all they have is a spell that they can't cast right now. There's a huge thunderous boom in the sky. Maybe a meteor or something is falling to Earth. Everyone freezes for a moment and is looking around in wild wonder at the strange omen in the sky. They will not be able to attack each other this turn as they try to interpret which god is angry and at who. My spellcasters are going to just back up a couple inches. Whatever, they're fairly sure that if they're standing over here, they have a better chance of surviving against whatever's falling from the sky. And that's all of the baddies. So now it's the goodies. So she can't rush because of the calm. I don't think she wants to run off and desert these guys. She can't fight them. She's gonna have to back up. So she's gonna pull back. She's gonna pull back and protect her folks. Genna is going to do her emendo. So remember that parlay and the calm do not prevent you from doing an action as long as it's not a special attack. So she's gonna cast emendo. It wouldn't prevent you from doing like a plot point or something. Remember, we're not doing plot points today. This is simply a skirmish, so having a lot of fun with just blarfing all over each other. It's a really fun way to play a skirmish game because of all the fun choices that you have. Pulp Alley is an excellent skirmish game. So she's going to roll her 2 dice and see if she can... Oh, good God. Okay, well, oh my God, she fails to roll it. She fails to roll the dice. Oh, boys and girls, this is... So when you start meddling in... when you start meddling in forces you cannot control, Genna miscasts that spell. A miscast is when you fail to roll a single success. You do not get... How often is that phrase heard? Maybe walk over here and slaughter some goblins. So what she's going to do, she miscasts the spell. She's going to have to draw X horror cards. Note that it is not rolling X horror checks. It's actually drawing the cards. X, boys and girls, remember, it is always drawn from the top of the deck. So X is 2 horror cards. 2 horror cards. The first horror card that she gets is determined. They're not all bad. She sees that omen in the sky. For the duration of this effect, the character may re-roll 1 recovery check per turn. Okay. The next one is Blind Panic. Must move 2 dice 6 in a random direction. Okay, here's our 2 dice 6. Here's our random direction. 8 inches that away. So Genna sees the strange omen in the sky and is taking off 8 inches in this direction. Genna has decided this is not where she wants to be. And those are attached to her. Those are her horror cards. So she has those now. So all we have left to activate is Breck. He's on the ground, so he can't activate. We're about to start our last turn of the scenario. Oh my goodness, boys and girls. Oh my goodness. Let's see what we're going to do here. Recovery checks. Let's see if Breck gets up. Here's his roll. He is back on his feet, hanging on by a thread. Ginna gets to roll a recovery check. We don't have to pick what we're rolling for. Because she has one or more horror effects on her, then she can roll a horror check or a horror recovery. She failed. What Determined does is for the duration of this effect, this character may reroll one recovery check per turn. So she will do that. She passes it, so she gets to remove, of her choice, she can remove one of these two horror effects. She's going to remove the blind panic. I'll also mention that horror recovery checks are voluntary, are optional. You don't have to roll if you want to keep it. So she doesn't have to roll. She's got Determined now on her, so she could try to hold on to that. The next thing that happens is that Breck is going to recover his 2 spells. So he gets his Nebulo and Periculos, and we are starting the last turn of the scenario. The last turn. I haven't counted up victory points yet. It's got to be pretty close. It's got to be pretty close right now. All right. Let's see. I would have to guess that the goodies are slightly ahead right now. Starting the last turn of the scenario, we look at the table and we have to decide what we would want to do here. So if I let my side go first, I'd probably try and get my character healed up. Maybe Ginna, try and get a recovery check for him, do a Mendo to try and fix him. She's also in range that she could try to knock down Neva's enchantment. She could try to Purgatrix on it and knock down that enchantment that she has on her. I'd also possibly even run Ginna away and try to find someplace safe to hide her. You do have to have line of sight, so if I could get her over here behind some trees or something like that, to protect her from Neva's Blarfy spell. So if I went first, if I let my guys go first, I could see an advantage there. If I let the baddies go first, it's going to be harder on my side, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the baddies activate first. So I can't get past Eugenia to get to Breck from this side. She's defending him from this side, but there are potentially a lot of victory points sitting here up for grabs. If I could take him down, that's, oh crap. If I could take him down, stupid camera. If he goes out of play, that's 3 victory points. Ginna's 2 victory points. So there's stuff within range of the goblins taken out of play. Certainly Eugenia is in range to take out some stuff too. I think I'm going to start off with my spellcaster over here, my acolytes. That means they're going to get a solo card. Solo card is Quirk of Fate. All other solo cards in play. That will be the Furious. Furious is wiped out, so that goes away. That's the only other solo card that's in play right now. So then what are they going to do? Then they're going to try to cast their spell, right? Then they're going to throw their spell over here. I got a couple chances of taking him down. So I don't have to do anything fancy. They're going to stay where they are, and they're going to drop. Also, by activating them first, not letting him throw Periculos over here is an advantage. So another reason not to let my good guys go first. Now, there's lots of ways. All it says is that you decide who goes first. So if you want to roll a dice or pull a bean out of a hat or whatever you decide, I choose what's going to make it harder on my side because that's how I like to play it. And I think that that gives you your best chance of having a good, balanced game. So they're going to throw the spell over there. They're going to get to roll 3 dice. They still have full strength, so they're rolling 3 dice for might. They got 2 successes. Has a diameter of 4 inches over there. That will catch both of them. That means they are going to get a peril, and it is 2 with finesse or cunning. So they got a good chance on that. Breck will roll first. He is injured now, so he's only rolling d6s, but he's got 4 of them. Needs 2 of these and fails. He takes 2 hits, and he is okay. Whew. Okay. Eugenia has to roll 2 successes as well. She's got 3 die 10, and she passes, so it does not affect her. Let's see. So they've activated. So now it is archers will activate. Move along. No effect at all. So has no effect on the scenario or the turn. Well, I'd love to get some shots on Breck. I'd love to get some shots on Breck. And that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. Oh, yeah, if they could get 1 more injury on him. What's his dodge skill? Why does he have a line through dodge? His dodge should be 2 die 6. Yeah, he's got 2 die 6 in dodge. All right, that's what they're going to do. So, to get around Eugenia, I'm going to have to run. So, I'm going to have to run to get around her. We'll come over here. They're going to lose a dice because they ran, but they're going to gain it right back for the short raise. They're rolling 2 dice. He is dodging with 2 dice. Let's see how it goes. The red dice are for the baddies. They got nothing. Doggone it. All right. I got 1 more shot. I'm gonna have to have Neva try and blast Breck into small parts. That's what she's gonna do. So from where she is, she could try and blow him apart. I could use Fragor here, man. If I use Fragor, it just automatically does a single hit to both of them. And that's enough. That is potentially enough to take them both down. But it's only one hit. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to do that. All right, Neva is going to move up because I got to get those victory points. If I let, I'm pretty sure, if I let, I could blarf one of them and get one of them down, but I don't think that's going to be enough for the goblins to win. So I think she's gonna play it fast and loose. And this is a risky move, right? I think I could just like obliterate one of those two and remove them from the map, or at least put them down. But I don't think that's going to be enough for them to win. From right there, she can do Fragor, and she can actually hit all three of those characters. Note that Fragor is based on the might, so she'll roll 4 die 8, and you pick a number of enemies equal to the number of successes. And each one of those enemies will take 1 hit. So all three of them will take 1 hit. We'll roll for Eugenia first. 1 hit wonder. And she passes. We'll roll for Breck. The reason we rolled 2 dice for Eugenia is because she's armored. So she always rolls an extra dice for that. 1 hit on Breck. And he is down. Like, that's the best chance we would have had, right? I mean, that's all we could have done if we would have done Ignis Ictus, is all we could have hoped for was to blarf him down. So now we also get to see if we can knock Genna down. And she also fails and is down. Look at that, boys and girls. Playing it fast and loose, taking the risks, and that time it paid off. Eugenia looks around. So that's all the baddies have activated. Eugenia looks around and she realizes everyone is now gone. Well, all she could do is try to cause some damage. So she will move into the archers. I think they were within 3 inches, so not going to be able to shoot. They're going to roll 2 dice to fight her. She's rolling 3 die 10 to attack them. She gets 2 successes. They get 1 success. She says, take them all. They will lose 2. 2 will fall and run away. She will have to roll a 1 dice health check. She gets 2 dice to do it. And she passes. Boy, she is beef. She is beefy. And that ends the scenario except for the recovery checks. So here is Genna. Genna failed, but she is determined. She is determined, so she gets to re-roll that. Remember the determined? So she's going to get to re-roll that. And passes. And now it's Breck. If Breck goes away, I think this might be a tie. Breck back on his feet. And that's a win for the good guys today. So, however you want to figure up your victory points, you can base it on the number of characters that were destroyed, or the number of characters that are left on the table, or any combination thereof. I don't really care. In this situation, I would say the baddies have 3, 4, 5 points of characters or slots or victory points left on the table. The good guys have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the table. So really, really close. So, you know, spells are not always going to be a big part of the game. You know, I think we saw that for for that league up there, that spellcaster, if you're going to put a level 2 spellcaster out there, if something goes wrong for that level 2 spellcaster, they're going to have a hard time getting their spell cast, right? So that group of spellcasters that came up on the good guy's right flank, they got caught in that periculos, and it just ate them up, and they never had a chance to get their Ignis Ictus cast. That Ignis Ictus could have caused all kinds of havoc on this side, just blarfing on stuff, but they weren't able to get up there soon enough, and got that periculos on them. This spellcaster over here with Revoco, I don't remember exactly. I think it did do some work, but again, it was a level 2 spellcaster. So you can't expect great things from level 2 spellcasters. They are ally level, and they're only a 2-slot character. So just don't put a level 2 spellcaster out there and think they're going to do great things. They could do great things, right? They're out there and they're blarfing on stuff. They could do great, or they could also just get immediately wiped from the table and not do anything. Your level 3 spellcasters are going to be much better. Your level 3 spellcasters at least have that one wound where they can take that wound and stay in play. But we saw Breck take enough damage that he actually went all the way down, ended up all of his enchantments going down, was able to get back on his feet, didn't have a lot of play after that. Neva is also a level 3 because of the way that league is built as a mastermind league. That's why they start with far more slots, or a couple more slots on the table. So that's a 14-slot league because it's built with the mastermind perk. So, what about doing a league with a small number of characters? So we may do that next Sunday, where we just put out maybe a leader spellcaster and 2 level 3 spellcasters. What about that? That could be interesting. We're really happy with the way it feels very balanced, because everything is, now this is a blarfy attack scenario. This is all about just fighting each other. But in those scenarios with the plot points where you have to rescue somebody or do some questioning and all that sort of stuff, it is still very, very balanced, because the characters that would normally be doing those sorts of things are probably your spellcasters, right? Your shooters and your brawlers normally aren't your best plot point grabbers. So that's part of all of the balance. Pulp Alley's a big game. We play it. We don't want it to be broken by adding spells. So we have taken an enormous amount of time to make sure that it works the way we want it to work, and that doesn't change the face of the game. You could easily have played this game with a spellcaster or 2 on one side, put no spellcasters on this side, and had, it would have still been very, very balanced. We put a bunch of spellcasters out there today because we were really wanting to kick the tires on the spells and looking for something that didn't feel right. Now, you don't do that based on a single game, right? Because dice are involved in bad rolls and that moment and that thing, you don't make changes to spells based on one single scenario and go, well, that spell is useless, because the next scenario, it could be awesome. And that's the way we have to go through this, is by playtesting the spells over and over again to make sure that they're working right. A big thank you to everybody that helped with this. Manny Marino is an absolute rock star. Manny over there in Los Angeles. A lot of you met Manny when he came to Pulpalooza in Albuquerque the last 2 years. So he has been just a rock star helping me with this game. His attention to detail is really, really good. Bessie is the first line of defense of checking things and making sure I don't get too kooky and crazy. But then Manny also comes in and kind of roots through it and corrects a lot of stuff for me as well. So really, really appreciative of him. Who knows? Maybe we can get this released before the end of the year. Maybe we can start taking pre-orders. I've been so focused on this that I haven't got the store. I haven't been able to really work on the store. I can pretty much only work on one thing at a time it's not only it's in my nature, but just the amount of time that I have to do things. Um, so I haven't been able to work on getting the new store ready. We want to cancel our existing store and rebuild it on a new platform. I feel like that's really close if I could just spend the time to get it done. So I'd really like to do that before we launch this. So we were also talking about, Bessie and I were talking about doing a Kickstarter. But either way, I would really like to have the new store launched before we try to release the book and everything, because we've had too many problems with our existing store, and I'm very unhappy with it. We need to just sit down, and I may just shut it off, and that will force me to get the other store set up, because right now I don't have the fire under my pants telling me I have to get it done because I have this half-assed store that's still limping along over here. So I think I need to do is just, put the old store down and just get switched over, and that'll make me, kind of make that decision, because I won't really have an option. Anyway, really enjoying the Magic Rules. If you have questions about anything, if you have suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. It's a good way, go back and watch this again. Make sure you leave a comment, hit that like button, get subscribed to our little channel. Hopefully next week we'll actually have another player on here with y'all. I like doing it solo because it lets me put tons of models on the table. One of the tricky things about doing remote games is that it does get a little slower, and that's because of the nature of it, because the other player that's watching from Tennessee or Michigan or whatever, they can't see the table as well as I can just sitting here looking at it. So everything just moves a little bit slower when we have remote players. So I typically try not to fill the table with models. Also, it lets them focus on a smaller number of models so they're not getting confused by all the stuff that's out there. It makes it a lot harder for me to know if they say move the spearmen, you're right, and I have like 3 groups of spearmen out there, and I don't know which one they're talking about, So it's fun doing these games on my own, because then I could just pile a bunch of miniatures out there and go for it. I love small games, but it's also fun to do these big games like this once in a while as well. What do you guys think? Do you like this? This was a straight up skirmish again, so a lot of fun playing it that way. I really, really love, like this to me is a far better skirmish game than most that I have played, because of the level of things, the important things that you get to decide. You have choices that really matter in that blocking and not blocking. Is this group trying to hold the line? Like, right? You send a group of, armored soldiers out there in the middle and you want them to hold the line. Well, then they're going to do a lot of blocking and defending, right? They're not going to be out there just trying to go for it where they're getting slaughtered. If that's their job is to hold this space, then they're going to be out there trying to mitigate that damage. And Pulp Alley is a game that actually gives you that choice, where you can have units serve a function. And that's what makes it fun to me, because you can make that level of decisions in it. Anywho, get signed up to play with us. Let us know where you would like to do Pulpalooza. David Lowe has really raised the bar very high in Albuquerque. He has a great team of players there. It is a fantastic venue, but doesn't mean that that's the only place that we're going to go or that we will go. We could end up back in Albuquerque, right? It's a wonderful place. But we also want to take the time to look around at other locations. I know that it's really difficult for folks from, Tennessee or Michigan or Pennsylvania to go to Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's difficult for folks from, would it be easier if it was in Kansas? Would you go to a Kansas location? Would you go to Grand Rapids, Michigan? I know there, at least last year, Marty had talked about Chicago and had a really nice couple different options in Chicago. So, we are open to suggestions and ideas, but it also, not only is it the location, we also have to think about um, the responsibility of whoever is setting it up, right? You have to be the person to make it happen, and to interface with the venue, and make sure that things are set up and kind of coordinate with players. That's not something that we're going to do. So you do have to kind of be the host if you're going to be the host. All right. That's it for today. I love you guys. Thank you so much for playing with me today. I appreciate you. Keep in touch. Send me some questions about the magic that we did today. There are still a few things that I'm considering, and as we go through this, I'm not going to go through all the questions, but there's still a few things that I'm going, would it be better, if we did this? And as the more games we play, I get more, data points where I can kind of look at those things and say, do we want to adjust this a little bit here or over here? So don't hesitate. Chris Abbey was suggesting that he really wanted Duelam to be a spell that if you won that you also gained initiative, became director. And right now we tried it that way a few times, but it just didn't feel right. There are a few things that are kind of written in stone, and there are spells, don't get me wrong, there are spells that let you become director, but that's basically what they do. They say, if you successfully cast a spell, you're the director. So if you really want a spell that's going to make you the director, that's there. But normally you remember, like most things that you do, like cursed presence where you cause a peril on somebody, or throwing a burst on the table, those things don't normally get you the initiative. They don't make you the director. The two things are a fight, and there are only two things in the game that are called a fight. And that is a brawl and it's a shootout. Those are fights. And they're resolved as fights, and that's what they are. Within a game, terms are supposed to mean things. So you could say, well, I should get it for, blasting a unit apart with Ignis Ictus. Well, yeah, but it's not a fight. You're safe, you're not putting yourself at risk. So there are a lot of reasons why a fight is a fight, and that's one of the ways to become the director. And we kind of limit the other ways that there are to do that. So right now, Duelam does not give you the option to become the director, and I doubt that it will. It just doesn't feel right, as we've kind of tested the idea and played with it a little bit more. We still have a few things that we're working on. The next deck that comes in, and it was ordered, it'll probably be here within the next 2 weeks or so, may be the final deck. It may actually, when I get it in my hands and I'm able to go through it and look at everything and just kind of, check it out, that might be the final deck. That might be it. And then it really becomes a question of finishing up the book and saying, I would love to get one printed before we start taking pre-orders, but depending on what printer we use, that adds a month to the process. Like one of our printers basically takes a month. I tell them I want this book, and they will send a copy of it to me in a month. And that's if I want, an actual physical copy of it that I can go through and look at the pages and what it's really going to look like. You can do a PDF, but that sometimes doesn't really give you the same thing as looking at a physical book and knowing, what, this section isn't right. This needs to be moved. This font is too small. My eyes are getting worse by the day, and I got to have nice big font now. So anyway, leave a question if you have one. Leave a comment. Make sure you're a subscriber. Play us out of here, Dave. Dave. Good night, everybody.